Well, we are in Northern Ireland right now in the city of Belfast. And we're going to explore the entire city on a beautiful double-decker bus tour, which I love to do every time I visit a new city. Right here, we are right in the city center, right by the city hall. So join me on a double-decker bus tour. We're taking the local bus tour services here. It's called Belfast Bus Tour. And right there we see the city hall. And the architecture of Belfast to me looks so different from Dublin and the other cities we visited in Ireland. It almost feels like I'm in a different country. And that's because technically I am. I am no longer in the Republic of Ireland. I'm actually in the United Kingdom of Britain and Northern Ireland. And that section being Northern Ireland right now. So I'm so excited to go on this bus tour. It's about to depart in a few minutes. And I'm going to show you a little bit more of the architecture. And let me know where you're watching from. All right, I'm so excited. I'm technically going to... When I came here by train, I stepped off the train and I felt like, whoa, I feel like I'm in a different country. And I realized like, oh, well, technically I am. Of course, there's a whole lot of 100 years of politics and turmoil that is associated with all this designation, whether it's a different country or not. We're not going to discuss that today, but it does feel very different from other parts of Ireland. And I'm very hyped to go and explore here because I kind of feel a little bit like I am in London in a tiny bit of a way. We're going to see that with the architecture. So join me for this bus tour. It's gorgeous architecture. Wow. Gorgeous, gorgeous building. This is the Scottish Provident Institution. And here's the bus tour we're in right now. Gary says this is an insurance company. Oh, cool. It must be a very old insurance company. More, at least 100 years old. Hey, Kaiser. Yes, I am in the UK, United Kingdom of Britain and Northern Ireland. Hey, Ronald. Hey, Panajotis, happy birthday. Oh, that's so cool. Everyone give Panajotis, who's been watching for a very, very long time. It was very helpful in Greece because he's from Greece. Give him a huge round of hearts for his birthday. Happy birthday, Panajotis. Hope you're enjoying it today, having good cake, a good Freddo espresso. Okay, the engines are starting and we're about to go. Planes are flying overhead. Hey, Audi. Hello, Rhonda. Hello, Janice. Hello, Mala. Hello, Mighty Bull. Hello, Paula. Welcome to my home city. Paul, I'm so happy to be in your home city. Hope you're doing well. Hope the Boyd family is doing well. Hello, Audrey. Watching now, far from Scotland. Yeah, we're in some parts of Northern Ireland. We're only like 20 or so miles away from Scotland, which is kind of crazy to think about. Hey, Kay. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Christine, Dwayne. Audrey says, wow, Belfast now. Oh, yeah. Hello, Helen. Hello, Tom. Hello, Mater. Gordon, welcome. All right, let me step over here. Still waiting to go. Lots of kids in school uniform, which is very different from what I saw in Ireland. A lot of double-decker buses here, but instead of being the green like we saw in other parts of Republic of Ireland, here they are pink. Not quite the red as you see in London. And there's a Greg's. So
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to Titanic Tours of Belfast. My name is Alan. I'm going to be your driver and your tour guide this afternoon. We're just going to start your tour off directly, and underneath this road where we are today, there is a river, and it's called the River Forster. And this is where Belfast gets its name from, as a word in the Irish language which describes us quite well. And the word is Bell, B-E-A-L, and translated into English, that means at the mouth of or at the ford of, and the two of them together, Belfast, anglicised over the years, till the day we arrive at Belfast, and that's how our city gets its name. We're just going to make our way down into the Titanic quarter. We're going to take you down into the shipyard so that you see where the Titanic was made and launched from. We shall then take you further down into the ship and making our way, stopping outside the Titanic Visitor Centre for anyone who wishes to get off to go in to see the Titanic Visitor Centre. Then we shall make our way back in towards the city centre and continue on with our tour out to southwest and north Belfast. Now we're just going to turn left into a street called Victoria Street. You've got lots of streets in Belfast named after Queen Victoria. She arrived here in our city charter until 1888. Like most women, she took a wee while to make her mind up, but we were still very pleased all the same. You've got Victoria Street, Great Victoria Square. It just goes on, mind you. Thank goodness she wasn't here for a week, otherwise we would have named everything after her. If you look down to the front left hand side, you can see the red brick building on the corner. That is the old town hall here in Belfast. But when we heard that Queen Victoria was coming here, we didn't think it was grand enough, so we built the City Hall where we just left a few moments ago, and we'll see again at the end of our tour. So we built the City Hall to replace the Town Hall. Basically today the Town Hall is a petty session courthouse, and just ahead of us there on the right hand side is the Royal High Courts of Justice. We'll be passing that later on our tour.
Mala, Christine, and Wally, thank you so much for the stars. So generous, thank you. Mala sent a whopping 1,000 stars, thank you. Stars go for the extension of this Irish trip, which goes on for 2 more weeks through mid-October. So I'm excited to show you at least a few more major cities and hopefully a few more natural landmarks.
Look out directly in front of us, and we're going to see the Albert Memorial Clock, built in memory of Queen Victoria's late husband, Prince Albert.
Oh, cool.
The clock tower originally cost $2,000. We had to spend £2 million having the clock tower repinned at 175 feet. You see the clock tower the perpendicular, and that's because it stands on top of the River Forster, and the Victorian foundations have been sinking into the ground since construction. You'll see the statue of Prince Albert halfway up the clock, and he's dressed wearing the robes of the Garter. The clock has also got 4 clock faces, none of which tell the right time. Pretty handy if you're late for work. If you go down the street to the right hand side, just beside the clock, that's where you'll find McHugh's Pub, one of the oldest pubs in the city, dating back to 1711. But very unfortunately, it's not 1711 prices. And that's a little he drinks in one day. Murphy went in there for a drink and he went missing. And he never came home. And after about 4 years, his wife thought she better report him missing. So she went down to the local police station and she said to the police officer, "I would like to report my husband missing." And he says, "Well, can you give me a description? Can you tell me what he looks like?" And she says, "Yes, he's about 6'6" tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, 56-inch chest, big muscles. And a wee boy stand behind his mummy, pulling her skirt, and he says, "Mummy, that doesn't sound like Daddy." And she says, "Who wants him back?" Now this afternoon on our tour, we're going to hear a gentleman's name mentioned quite a bit, a gentleman called Sir Charles Lanyon. He's responsible for many of the Victorian buildings in Belfast, the likes of Queen's University, the Crumlin Road Courthouse and the jail, and Custom House and Custom Square. And we're going to see Custom House as we come round the next corner. If you look out to the front right hand side, building, and that is Custom House and Custom Square by Sir Charles Lanyon. You'll see the bars that go around the bottom windows, and that doubles up as Belfast's first jail for all the drunken sailors. Coming up on the left hand side, on the quay side of the River Lagan, we're going to see the big fish. Let's go around and have a look at it. All the scales on the fish tell different stories about Belfast, and they say that if you kiss the fish, that you get a little bit of knowledge. And looking at you lot, I would say you need to kiss it quite a bit, as you do look rather thick to me. Don't worry, I am going to insult each and every one of you before you get off this bus. So that's Custom House, Custom Square, immediately to our right, and on the left hand side the big fish. Keep looking down to the left hand side, and you'll see the footbridge that takes you over the River Lagan. Do come down at night time when all the lights from underneath the footbridge shine right across to the Queen Elizabeth Bridge. It's a little bit like Paris at night time. Yeah, right, if you close your eyes. Crossing over the Queen Elizabeth Bridge, we're now leaving County Antrim behind us and making our way across into County Down. As we make the turn, look out directly in front of us, and we're going to see the... Here we have the W5, who, what, where, when and why, hands on out. So it is. Many restaurants, cinemas, bars, nightclubs, 10-pin bowling, and at the very end of the building we have our very own 14,000 sitting arena. We get all the big pop stars coming here now, the likes of Rod Stewart, Elton John, Dolly Parton. It's also home to our ice hockey team, the Belfast Giants. We were going to call them the Belfast Bombers, but that didn't go down too well. The were coming up on our left, there's usually one or two ambulances sitting here. It's going to or to give it its original name, Queen's Island. And this at one time was the entrance into the biggest shipyard in the world, called Holland the Shipwreck. The shipyard employed 35,000 men, with a further 15,000 worldwide. We don't build any ships here now in Belfast. The last ship to be built here was 9 years ago, and that was the Anvil Point. Coming up on the left hand side, we're going to see a little ship called the SS Nomadic. This was a little tender ship that carried first and second class passengers on a shoreboard to the Titanic. And so then took it over to Paris, the Eiffel Tower. He cut off the tunnel on the top deck and turned it into a floating restaurant. Last week, quite recently, having it completely restored, and if you have any interest in the Titanic whatsoever, this little is a must visit while you're here in the city. That is the Titanic Visitor Centre. I recommend yours on saying that inside the Titanic, outside it in just a few minutes. Directly in front of us, the red brick building, that is now the Titanic Hotel, but at one time that year, it's inside this building, the drawing rooms, and he would have looked out the back of this building and watched as the Titanic was being constructed. There's 70 museums all around the world dedicated to the Titanic. We don't have one This is going to be our new Titanic Museum, and as you can see, as a mark of respect, that we haven't even the drawing office on the left-hand side. You'll see all the steel beams sticking up out of the ground. They go around the two concrete slipways, number 3 and number 4. There originally used to be 28 slipways in this area, but that's all that's left to this day. The one closest to us is where the Titanic was launched. Our sister ship, the Olympic, of the size of the Titanic, she had 40 each propeller 23 feet in diameter, 38 tons. So it gives you an idea of how big the Titanic actually was. Now as we make the turn, you can't help but notice the two big large yellow cranes, Samson and Goliath. They straddle the world's largest dry dock. That dry dock can accommodate any ship afloat in the world today. Samson stands at 110 meters tall. If necessary, they can lift 840 tons each. The red box on top of the crane that used to be, believe it or not, restaurant time. That's not a problem. If you look down the inside. Now we're just going to stop here outside the Titanic Visitor Centre. If anyone would like to get off here, if anyone is bored with the tour, could I please have women and children first, please? Okay.
It's a live tour, everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
The guys downstairs.
And now I want you to look out to the front right-hand side. You can see the large grey building, the Odyssey. I want you to look up on top of it, and you can see what looks like 3 large funnels. Look at the front of the building, looks like the bow of a ship, and the big grey piece beside it looks like the bridge of a ship. Well, this is what all being designed to look like. Left hand into the airport, or out of the airport, looking down into the ship, famous ships that were once built here. Probably the 2 most famous names in Northern Ireland, George Best and the Titanic. One was a disaster, the other one sank. Only kidding you, George, we still love you.
Yep, that's right, George. Yeah, this is a super fast tour. They put the fast in Belfast. Veronica, any Game of Thrones? Apparently there were 2 sets in Belfast, but they are private property, so we probably won't be able to see it. Most of the Game of Thrones locations in Northern Ireland are further out, further up north along the coast.
As we make the turn, if you look out directly in front of us, you can see the big tall glass building. That is the Opal Tower. It's the tallest building in Ireland, and again, it holds a record that all the apartments sold with inside 8 to 12 hours of going onto the market. The fastest property sales in Europe. Yes, ladies, I did buy one of those penthouses on the top floor, all of it. And if any of the ladies would like to call round tonight for a glass of champagne, please feel free to do so. And you should see the apartment, ladies. It's got absolutely everything. It's got a big 55-inch plasma TV. It's got 3-inch thick tiled carpets. It's got leather reclining seats. It's got one of those big American fridge freezers. But there's something wrong with the washing machine. I'm going to have to get a plumber out to look at the washing machine. I picked 6 shirts in the other day, pulled the chain, haven't seen one of them since. Look across to the right hand side, and in the skyline you can see the big glass dome that goes round the brand new Victoria Shopping Centre. You can of course go up to the top of the glass dome. There's a lift that's free of charge, and on a nice day you do have some very spectacular views overlooking the city. But before that building was there used to be one of the tallest buildings in Belfast was here. And what did they do with it? They brought in English contractors to do what? To blow it up. Now you think about it, folks. What a waste of local talent. I mean, all they had to do was go to any bar in Belfast and say, right lads, we've a wee job here for you to do. Number 1, we could have done it for nothing, and 2, we could have done it in the dark, and it would have looked perfectly normal. But that's what they did. One Sunday morning, packed it full of explosives. Everybody in Belfast came down to watch it, as if we hadn't seen enough bombs come off here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just ahead of us on the left hand side at the end of the bridge, you can see a work of art. There was a wee Belfast pensioner. She left here. She saw something that she thought the people of Belfast might like. It's called Thanksgiving Beacon. It's just a place where people of religious, non-religious can come down, sit, think, pray, do whatever they want to do. But here in Belfast, we have to give things nicknames. Some of us call it the doll and the ball. Some of us call it the thing with the ring. But my favourite is Nula with the hula. The hula hoop, because I'm old enough to remember one. Look out to the front right hand side. You can see the large white. That is the old High Court here in Belfast. The wall that we can see that goes round the outside of the building. That was added back in the worst year of the Troubles. And that wall would reflect that. It is a blast-proof wall, and it is 4 feet thick of reinforced steel and concrete. What's going to happen to the courthouse now that it's going to be turned into a luxury 5-star hotel? That's the courthouse just immediately to our right. Coming up on the left hand side we can see St George's Market, open every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And in St George's Market you can get anything from a safety pin to a ship's anchor. Live music, great food in there as well. So if you're here over the weekend, St George's Market is a
okay.
That's a courthouse, sir.
The views expressed by this
Cheers,
tour
thank you,
guide
man.
are not reflective of my own nor of the show Urbanist, by the way.
Now we're going to see, just coming up here on the right hand side, we're going to see the City Hall. First opened its doors back in 1906. You can of course go into the city Monday to Sunday, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Nice little coffee shop in here as well. You can also walk around the grounds of the City Hall and look at some of the statues. For instance, coming up on the right hand side, the second statue in is the only statue anywhere in Ireland dedicated to the people that lost their lives in the Titanic disaster. It's a statue of fame, and she's looking down at 2 sea nymphs lifting up a drowned sailor out of the sea. The statue faces East Belfast because Titanic was built in East Belfast. It also has got the names of 22 local people on the side of the statue, one of those being Thomas Andrews, the designer of the Titanic. And the City Hall is simply known to us locals as the Stone Titanic. That's the City Hall just immediately to our right. Past the City Hall on the right hand side, the large white building that is now the headquarters of Danske Bank, but at one time that used to be the headquarters of the Northern Bank. And you might be able to remember 10 years ago there was a little bank robbery took place here where £26 million went missing without a single gunshot being fired. But even the English, they couldn't let us be the biggest bunch of thieves. They'll have one better, but they're 50 in the south of England in Kent. But there's a wee friend of mine and myself behind the City Hall, and hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be making our way out towards the Bahamas. But whatever you do, don't be telling the police you knew it was us. Give us a wee head start to let us get away. And if anybody would like a souvenir from your trip to Belfast at the end of the tour, I will be selling. We're just going to turn left into Great Victoria Street, and as we do so, on the right hand side we're going to see the Grand Opera House. As we go past the Opera House, I want you to turn right round, look back over your left hand shoulder, and I want you to look at the side wall of the Opera House, and you'll see the different colours in the brickwork. And the old brickwork, 1972, there was a £500 car bomb went off here, practically destroying the whole side of the Opera House. This is not a joke. Guess what was being shown in the Opera House when the bomb went off? I'll start it and you guys can finish it. Chitty chitty, bang bang. Laurel and Hardy started their career off in the Opera House. It also started life out as a circus. That's why if you go into it, look up at the ceiling, you'll see all the animals' heads, the elephants, the lions and the tigers. Nice little coffee shop in there as well. And you'll see the Opera House when we go through these lights here.
Insanity says this is not a smooth ASMR experience. No. If you don't know what he's saying, just ignore it. Play
That's the Grand Opera House immediately to our right. Even if you don't drink alcohol, go in and have a look. It's got the world's longest marble bar. Close the door. Have electricity, it runs off gas lights, and that's what gives us our boys a wee head start, because you girls pints of Guinness into you. The Crown Bar is now owned by the National Trust. Well, side, and in the skyline you can see the large grey building that has been anywhere in the whole of Ireland. 38 years of troubles, and nobody ever thought to stick one underneath that one.
Right hand side? What is he talking about?
Now, we're just about to turn right onto the Dublin Road, and just to locate it for you, this road coming up on our left hand side, a 2-minute walk down that road will bring you to the back of the City Hall. And on the Dublin Road you've got just about every type of restaurant you can possibly think of. You've got Chinese restaurants, Italian restaurants, French, German, you name it. Just about every type of restaurant you can possibly think of, you will find here on the Dublin Road. You'll see them all in just a few moments when we get through these lights here. I'm afraid we're just hitting all the rush hour traffic this afternoon. That's the problem about doing a last tour in any city. You always do the last tour, you always run into all the rush hour traffic. Can't do very much about it, I'm afraid.
Irene, I'll do my best to explain a little bit of the troubles in the subsequent broadcast. It'll take a little bit of time to explain it, a little bit more nuanced. Indeed, the tour guide is indeed making jokes of it, which is not reflective of my own personal beliefs. So, yeah, I did not imagine that he would make jokes about that, but yeah, here we are. So I apologize for anyone out there who is from Northern Ireland and that memory is still very raw for them. Can Saturday? No, he's not speaking. He has a thick accent, and also the speakers are not so good.
As we come on to the Dublin Road, there's some great bars and restaurants. Some of the bars, here's one coming up for you on the right hand side. It's bright blue in colour. It's called Filthy McNasty's. There isn't anything filthy about the bar, it's just the name of it. Then on the left hand side you have the Points Bar, live music, Irish dancing, 7 nights a week. So later on this evening, as we are very close, a lot of the students in this part of the city. And that's where we're heading off to next, Queen's University. We'll be there.
Best see if I can. I'll do my best. Black car driver, because I know that's famous tour. Veronica says Irish humor in general is very dark and macabre, like the move in Bruges.
Now we're going to see just coming up here on the left hand side in just a few moments, my favourite building in Belfast. Again, the architect, opened by Queen Victoria on her one and only visit to Belfast when she came here back in 1849. The university has got 25,000 students attending the university, with attending the university as well. Queen's University has got 5 Nobel Prize Peace winners, one of those of course being the poet, Seamus Heaney, and of course a politician, David Trimble, my Lord David Trimble of Lisnagarvey. You can of course walk in through the front gates, walk past the War Memorial, walk in through the front door, turn left, and that will bring you into the Norton Art Gallery. It has been voted one of the best art galleries anywhere in the whole of Europe. I was in it a few days ago, and I've been in some art galleries in my time, and I've never seen one as good as this. So if you're in the city for a couple of days, the tour is free of charge. Nice coffee shop in here as well, and you can easily spend 45 minutes to an hour walking around the art gallery. And you'll see Queen's University when we get through these lights.
Ooh, coffee. Veronica says he won the Nobel Prize. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Northern Ireland, Irish Urbanist, for giving some extra insights. Thank you, Darren, Veronica. We have a few others. Irene says, I don't get the jokes. You know, to be honest, I'd rather not even translate the jokes to American. Some of them are very sensitive. I'll let the Irish make those jokes. I'll stick to my normal sarcasm about architecture.
So that's Queen's University just coming up here. A visit while you're building inside and outside, worth a visit. Gardens. Okay. See, just coming up here on the left-hand side, you'll see the beautiful Botanical Gardens. We spend a couple of hours walking to find the Oyster Museum. They're both free of entry. Again, well worth a visit. So that's the Botanical Gardens and the Oyster Museum, just immediately to our left. The Oyster Museum, of course, steeped in history, First World War, Second World War, and of course the recent troubles here in Northern Ireland. I now want you to look out to the front right-hand side, and we're going to see two of the best sporting bars in Belfast. It doesn't matter what sport you're interested in. Could be darts, cricket, rugby, golf, whatever your sport happens. Sporting bars to visit. Each bar has got about 8 or 10 plasma TVs in them. You might be coming up here, Eglinton Inn, and on the right-hand side, the Botanical Inn, and on the left-hand side, the Eglinton. So two of the best sporting bars here in the city.
Hey, Kathy, thank you so much for the stars, Kathy. I appreciate the stars, Kathy. Thank you so much. Oh, it's Guinness time. Ah, I think it is Guinness time.
Now, can I just ask if anyone is sitting on the open top section of the bus, please be aware of the overhanging branches of the trees. There's one here in particular, I call it special from Northern Ireland to get that one. It might hit you a slap in the beak and take you off for some. Now, being so close to Queen's University, the students, you look down either side of the which is neat cut, abandoned, just look out to students know exactly what time these big tour buses flash naughty little things out directly abandoned. Just look out directly in front of us. Now, at the end of this road, we're going to turn right, and this will bring us into South Belfast. Some famous, the former Harrigan Higgins, because he was so fast. World snooker champion, 82. You can see the little that's now to get
Stephanie says that this looks like Ridgewood, Queens. Yeah, there's a similarity. Sorry for flipping the camera so much. I apologize for putting the camera like all over the place. It's because the guy is saying, "Oh, go look left, look right, look the other way, look in front." I don't know where to look. breather. That's good. Peace and quiet. Wow. All right, now we go fast. So this tour is being given by Bane. Tom Hardy is on the driver's seat, drinking some Guinness and using his respirator from The Dark Knight Rises.
Now we're going to see just coming up here on the left-hand side in just a few moments, a very large grey building. This is a brand new state-of-the-art cancer research unit for the, I say brand new, it's about 8-10 years old. That's good enough for me. That's almost brand new. And you may have seen on the news just a few days ago that the hospital had a fantastic breakthrough with breast cancer and bowel cancer, possibly because the professors from Queen's University worked very closely with the doctors and the medical team in the city hospital. The brand new Department of Oncology for the Belfast City Hospital. The large building with the yellow and grey stripes, that is the third block of the City Hospital. It was officially opened by the Prince of Wales, and when he opened the building he said that he thought that it was one of the most ugliest, one of the most hideous things that he had ever seen. Now the local people are very proud of the City Hospital. They didn't take too kindly to his remarks, and have now given the hospital a nickname, and they now call it Camilla. Now look, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm only telling you what the local people call it. And if you don't believe me, stick your head over the side of the bus, shout down to them, what's the name of that building? And they'll just shout back at you, Camilla. Now we're just going to turn left into Sandy Row, and we're going to see some of the murals that we're going to see. And as I just mentioned, we're going to see the one here for the former twice world snooker champion, Alex Hurricane Higgins, because he was so fast round the snooker table. So just as we come into Sandy Road, look down to the front right-hand side on the corner, you'll see a bar called the Royal. You would have played anybody a game of snooker in that bar for a pint of beer. And just beside the bar, there you'll see a memory of a true legend, the people's champion, Alex Hurricane Higgins. And side, twice world snooker champion, Alex Hurricane Higgins.
Peace and quiet again.
Now if you turn right round, look back over your left hand shoulder. Your left hand shoulder, the football player who played for Northern Ireland and some other little team called Manchester United. Now George was born in East Belfast. We're currently in South Belfast, and a lot of people will always ask me, why is this meal here in South Belfast? Well, we're not that far away from Windsor Park, which is home to the Northern Ireland football team, and of course Ireland as well as Manchester United. Now if you look down to the left hand side, there you'll see the mural for the Northern Ireland football team, and again, because we are so close to Windsor Park, about a 3-4 minute walk from here will take you to Windsor Park.
Oh my God. This is an intense tour. Wow. I knew Northern Ireland was going to be intense because of the history, but I didn't know the tour bus was also going to be this intense.
Fast, we're now going fast. On the Falls Road. 1916. Then you will see the murals for the 10 men that died of hunger strike. 81. Then we will see a garden of remembrance on the Falls Road, and then we will be seeing the International Wall. All the murals on the International Wall, we'll be talking all about them. Then we'll be driving through the Peace Gates onto the Shankill Road, driving along by the Peace Wall, and then down the Shankill Road, and across then over to the Crumlin Road Courthouse and the Crumlin Road Jail. So we've still got an awful lot of our tour to see. Rising of Dublin of 1916. We're going to see the GPO in O'Connell Street. We'll see the Phoenix rising up out of the ashes as it was a failed rebellion. We're also going to see the murals for the 10 men that died on hunger strike in the Mayor's prison back in 1981 after removal of political prisoner status. Margaret Thatcher, who was Prime Minister at that time, she wouldn't give in to their 5 demands. They wanted the rights not to wear prison uniform, from family and friends. They wanted the rights to receive letters from family and friends, and one by one the troubles that erupted throughout the whole. Unbelievable. It was only when all 10 men died that Margaret Thatcher gave in to them, and she gave them their political prisoner status. They wanted to be seen as political common prisoners. And the 10 men, back in 1981, you had Bobby Sands, Francis Shears, Raymond McCrash, Patsy O'Hara, Joe MacDonald, Martin Hudson, Kevin Lynch, Kieran Doherty, Thomas McAree, and Michael Devine. And we'll see their murals in just a few minutes. You'll also notice that look at all the street signs, you will see that they are in English, and also English is very widely spoken in this part of. To the left hand side, that is the Royal Victoria Hospital. It's the biggest hospital in Europe. It employs over 4,000 people. The hospital sits on a square mile site. Really is an absolutely massive big hospital. So we're just going to turn right onto the Falls Road. And as we do so, if you look to the left-hand side, you'll see the mural for the Easter Rising of Dublin of 1916. As I said, you can see the GPO, the General Post Office in O'Connell Street in Dublin. You can see it's on fire, and you can see the phoenix rising up out of the ashes as it was a failed rebellion. Now we're just going to bring you on down the Falls Road to let you see the murals for the 10 men that died on hunger strike in the Mayor's prison back in 1981. And if you want to see the mural for Bobby Sands, you're going to have to turn right round, and there you will see the mural for Bobby Sands. He was the first hunger striker to die. He was 27 years of age. He was 66 days on hunger strike. He was voted into County Tyrone and Fermanagh as an MP, though he never took his seat in Westminster, nor did he ever have to take the oath that other MPs have to take. And that's on the side wall. And Sinn Féin, translated into English, means ourselves alone. Coming up on the right-hand side, you can see a garden of remembrance. If you look at the and that is for D Company of the Provisional IRA. You'll also see the names of 88 of the volunteers that lost their lives during the Troubles. Just coming inside is the inter where we can see the first mural we can see is for D Company of the Provisional IRA. You'll see their message, "Our struggle continues." The next one is Nelson Mandela. I like the little inscription. It says, "In my country, we go to prison first and then become president." The one with all the people's faces, that is to remember the Easter Rising of Dublin of 1916, right through the 30th anniversaries of the 1981 hunger strikes. The next one is for 6 members of the INLA, the Irish National Liberation Army, that lost their lives during the Troubles. 1936 to 1939. The next two are for the Third World. You've one there for Fidel Castro. The next two are for the Irish language. You've one's on solidarity between prisoners of war, between Palestine and Israel. You see the prisoners shaking hands through the prison cells. And the very last one, before the peace gates, is Frederick Douglass. He stopped the slave trade coming into Ireland. You're now just leaving the heartland of the Falls Road. Through the next set of gates, you're now in the heartland of the Shankill Road. You're down to the right-hand side, you'll see how quick to remember the men from the 36th Ulster Division that lost their lives at the Battle of the Somme, the 1st of July, 1916.
Wait, what?
Those gates we just came through now will close at 6 o'clock this evening and remain closed at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're now just going to take you over to let you see the peace communities.
What happened?
And again, if you look down to the front left-hand side, you'll see the grey gates. And again, those gates will close at 6 o'clock this evening and remain closed at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Just the other Falls Road. And directly in front of us, that is the start of the North and West Belfast Peace Wall. It zigzags for 13 miles between the two communities, right up to the mountain that we can see as we make our turn. And this is where it all started. Coming up on the right-hand side, you've got 5 streets. You've got Cooper Street, Conway Street, Watersfield Street, Kashmir Road, and Bombay Street. And on the 15th of August, 1900 families were burnt out of their homes. Catholics had to leave Protestant areas, and Protestants had to leave Catholic areas. The peace wall to our left, that was an idea by the British government. And shoot each other. You can see all the artwork, millions and millions Sirs from all over the world who have come up here to leave a message of peace for both sides of our communities. Now you might think to yourself that it's not safe to get off here where we are between the Shankill Road and the Falls Road. It is perfectly safe. Nobody's been attacked in the only joking, of course. End of the road, you'll see the gates are open. They are controlled by CCTV to the nearest police station. The police just push the button and the gates close automatically. Look down for the also on the right 19 the military organization 66 the UPF much. If you look to the left-hand side, First C Company of the assault rifles, they were found to become the deadliest loyalist paramilitary organization. Troubles. A guy wars. That's the also on the right-hand side is the Ulster Tower. 6 Ulster Division that lost their lives at the Battle of the Somme. On the very 186 men killed, wounded, or missing. Left-hand Queen Elizabeth II to remember the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. 60 years we know. 2012. To the right-hand side is a garden of remembrance to remember the 5 people who lost their lives when the Piano War was blown up by the Provisional IRA on the 13th of August, 1975. You'll see the photographs of the 5 people on the archway just coming up on our right. Also on the right-hand side, photographs of more atrocities. The one I find most to look at this one is the one in the middle of on the 11th of December 1971. 2 adults and 2 babies were killed. If you do decide to look at it, look very closely and you'll see the ambulance driver is carrying one of the try and understand is that these atrocities happened on both sides of our communities. We never point a finger at one side of the community or the other. To do so could very easily destabilize the peace process. Nobody over 3,000 civilians lost their lives. Members of the security forces, the British Army and the police. If you were to add those to civilian casualties, we're talking just over 6,500 people that lost their lives here during the dark days of our troubles. We're now just leaving the heartland of the Shankill Road. We're now going to take you over to let you see the Crumlin Road Courthouse and the Crumlin Road Jail. Now, we're just going to turn right onto the Crumlin Road. The courthouse will be on the right-hand side, and the jail will be. This was known as a Diplomat Court. What I mean by Diplomat is you didn't have a jury. You couldn't have a jury. It was far too dangerous. In a Diplomat Court, it just would have been the suspect prisoner and the judge. And 9 times out of 10, when you were found guilty, I say sent down, I mean sent down. Because behind the judge there's a set of steps takes you down into the basement of the courthouse, and underneath this road where we are today, there is a tunnel that takes you across to the big house on the left-hand side, the Crumlin Road Jail. The jail has got 4 wings. A wing is for the loyalist prisoners, B wing is for the Republican prisoners, and C and D wing, that was for the ODCs, decent criminals. We had to stay somewhere. Now if you look out directly in front of us, you'll see the roundabout. To the left-hand side of the roundabout, that is the Catholic. To the right-hand side of the roundabout, that is the Shankill Housing Estate, which is 100% Protestant. This is what we call an interface part of the city. When I say interface, this is where Catholics and Protestants live in a very close proximity to each other. There are 76 interface areas in Belfast alone. If you look in the middle of the roundabout, you'll see the grey CCTV camera pole, and those cameras we can see they are in fact bulletproof. During the dark days of our troubles, there would have been practically on a daily basis for gun battles to take place across this roundabout, and very sadly many people from both sides of our communities lost their lives at this roundabout. It was without any question a very dark and very dangerous part of our city during the dark days of our troubles. But thankfully and hopefully those dark days are long behind us, and please God never to return. Now, if you look out directly in front of us in the skyline, you'll see the spire of St. Patrick's Chapel. You'll see it's got a brand new roof on top of it. 7 years ago, there was a very serious. When the fire was put out, the priest was walking around assessing the damage to see what could be salvaged or what could be saved. It was then he discovered a secret compartment inside the chapel, and it contained a painting of the Madonna and Child. Now thankfully the painting, it wasn't even inside the chapel today, and it £5 million. The painting, of course, is from Dublin, and St. Patrick's Chapel. Stop. It really is worthwhile getting to see the painting, take some photographs of it, and I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. So do go in and have a look. Again, St. Patrick's Chapel, steeped in history, First World War, Second World War, and something else that might surprise some people, but nowadays, nobody can care less who you are, what your religious beliefs are. You can go into any place of worship, and I can guarantee you, you'll be made more than 100% welcome. So do go in and explore them and have a look around. As I say, you will not be disappointed. Now, in just a few minutes, we're going to turn left into a street called Wellington Place, named after the Duke of Wellington, born just outside of Dublin, lived on this street as a young man, twice of the United